Good evening, cult members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is episode 92 of the Pop Culture Cult. This is our big show, mostly movie stuff, although we're going to talk about a movie thing, but it's a big deal to me because I have no freaking clue how they're going to do this correctly.
After the break.
And we're going to talk about the SAG Awards today, too, because some shit went down and it could affect the Oscars.
Yeah, that's what they say.
So, and there was some stuff that didn't happen at the SAG Awards that
could affect the
Oscars. So it's very interesting. First, we ask that you subscribe to the channel. Really easy. Just hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Please also follow us on Patreon. We have a Patreon going. I think I'm going to set a goal for Patreon only for maybe an outtakes video. We'll see what happens.
Our outtakes are pretty funny.
Bad.
They're funny.
They are funny. So let's get into this starting off. It came out this afternoon. Okay, I'm going to start with this. I have like 100 pops, and that's controlled.
Yeah. Some are there, and they're there, and over there, and over here.
I've run out of shelving, so I have a curio cabinet in the front
floor
room that has
there.
my giant, it's like this big, porg. Yes, I bought a full-size porg.
I know.
And some other stuff. But they're kind of spread out all over the place. And it came out that Warner Brothers is talking about doing a FUNKO movie.
So is this like a Lego movie kind of thing?
Yes. The idea generally... now, there's no specifics. I actually think I said that right.
You did.
All right. There is no quote-unquote specific... See, I did it once, and now I screwed it all up. But the idea, at least generally, is to do a live-action, animated, kind of like Mary Poppins or Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So the pops are animated, and then there's people interacting with them?
Yes.
Okay. How do they possibly narrow down the pops that they're going to use?
Well, right now the plot details are scarce, but it's reported, and some circles are going with this. They're doing Wonder Woman, the Care Bears, Hellboy, Deadpool, Hello Kitty, Harley Quinn, Darth Vader, and My Little Pony. And they're all got to work together to solve some major thing and tell us about sharing is caring or something. I don't know, whatever the Lego movies end up telling us and stuff. What? I love Funko, and I really like the idea of animated movies, but what the fuckity fuck? What?
Well, I mean, if you, again, with the Lego movie, if you actually...
I said the same exact thing.
If you actually talk about the plot...
With Taco Tuesday and the Piece de Resistance and
the Crackle.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
It's right now, the only real things is it came out by Daniel Rickman, who is a reporter. He posted a picture of inside Warner Brothers, like, big planning room, and there's dates on there, like random like months and dates and stuff like that, and whatever. And they had DC on there. I actually went and looked at the photos. Like DC's on there, and Lego, and all this other stuff. And Funko was in the top corner, and so they're trying to piece together how all this is going to work.
How did he get this picture?
I think he was there and took a picture and posted it, and nobody told him to take it down. So I guess Warner Brothers. I know that Warner Brothers is trying to look for the next thing.
Yeah.
Right. The look. Warner Brothers is looking for the next big, because they really only have the Lego stuff, and Lego 1 was amazing and did great. Lego Batman was probably the best of the movies, but didn't do very well. only the kids cared about Ninjago, and they're
Right.
putting a lot of push behind Lego 2.
Right. Which comes out soonish.
Like next couple of weeks. So,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're looking for the next big thing. And so...
But they have DC, too. Right?
Yes. And so...
So Shazam.
They just posted a video. It looked like a costume test, but they kind of put it together for Birds of Prey with
Okay.
Margot Robbie coming back as Harley Quinn and stuff. It looks really like even the little screen test thing. Nerdist like nailed it on what they kind of caught in this little 20-second thing and the characters and.
Well, that's
and
cool
stuff,
because
but-
I mean that's felt like a rumor. You know, it hasn't felt solidified. So if they're
Yeah.
doing screen test kind of stuff and
The
costume tests,
the first thing I saw this morning when I turned on my phone and I popped it on Instagram was Margot Robbie dressed as Harley Quinn and said, "Here we go." So
Okay.
so
that's
that was
cool.
cool. We're off topic with the Funko thing. Talk amongst yourselves. But I love Funkos. I think they're cool and the community is awesome and I love the hunt and I love tracking down stuff and so all of that is cool. But I just don't know how this is going to work. And so I question.
Again, you know, it could be Lego. Your computer is just making all kinds of noise.
Yeah, I got a friend messaging me right now. So
It could be the next Lego movie, or it could be, you know, My Little Pony.
it could
I don't
be.
know.
My Little Pony did really well too. And Dragon Ball Z just had an animated movie, Broly, that made $11 million in its opening weekend.
All right.
It was like third in the opening
all right,
weekend,
okay.
and so
I mean,
there's
I guess
a
as long as they're
marketplace for it.
plugging along, yeah.
The best Funko movie that's ever been made was a documentary called Making Fun.
Yeah.
About the story of Funko. It's on Netflix. If you like documentaries, it's cool. If you like Funko, it's cool. If you like celebrities and their geekdomness, it's
Or
cool.
Toys, like toy collecting.
Toy collecting, that's really cool too. We're going to talk about the James Gandolfini thing first, and then we'll get into the other one.
Yep.
They are making a Sopranos prequel movie. Now, when I first heard about this, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the people who were part of the Sopranos and the show running and all that stuff, David Chase and the writer Lawrence Connor, are directly involved with writing this movie. And it is a prequel based on the riots in the 1960s in Newark, New Jersey, which broke out as a result of the tensions flaring between the city's black and Italian residents, which I thought was very interesting. And Alan Taylor, who is going to direct it, he did some episodes for Sopranos. One of them was Kennedy and Heidi, which he won an Emmy for. He's done a bunch of stuff for Game of Thrones and Boardwalk Empire, Nurse Jackie. So he's got that kind of pedigree too. He also did Thor: The Dark World and Terminator Genesis.
Okay,
so
I was going to say, has he done any movies or just
he
TV
has done some movies
shows?
that ended up not being as well received as other things.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting behind this. And then they announced that James Gandolfini's son, Michael, is going to play Tony Soprano
Yeah.
as a young man
Teenager, yeah.
in this series in this movie.
Yeah.
Now you have my attention.
He sort of looks like him. Sort of.
He looks like a young Tony Soprano right now. Now he's not. He won't be as heavy as James
or as bald.
Or as bald. But if it's set in the 60s and the Sopranos were kind of set in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. I just when I first saw this, I think it was over the weekend, maybe Friday.
Yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
over the weekend when I saw this and I saw his picture and I was like, okay, that's cool, but he like I said, he looks sort of like him. It's not like he is a dead ringer for James Gandolfini,
right,
20 or 40 years earlier, whatever. 30 years earlier. So it could have probably been anybody, but
yeah.
whatever.
It's
cool. Good for him. He wants to get into acting.
He's got some acting credits to his name. Nothing like where he's the lead or anything like that.
Right.
And he probably won't be even the lead in the show.
Yeah, probably not. This is an interesting story. I've never. It's not. I mean, I'm not from the East Coast. I've always lived on the West Coast my entire life.
Right.
So this isn't a story I've ever heard of.
Yeah, and I know there's been racial tension for a long time in the New York, New Jersey area between blacks and Italians and stuff like that, but I never knew about riots or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
specific. I mean, Watts and in California. Yeah, we know that because we've lived here. But
the idea is kind of a cool concept to tell that story inside the Sopranos universe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a historical fiction, so historical facts with stuff, and that was one of the things that Sopranos did really well was they dealt with real life stuff that was going on within the show, but the show was fictional itself.
Right. And I always think it's good to tell stories that people don't necessarily know about. I always find that interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's cool, especially with Michael Gandolfini being part of it, and the creators from The Sopranos being involved. I think it's just a really cool story.
Yeah.
So Bob Iger, the #1 source for all Disney news information,
yes,
tweeted out today in celebration of 1, Black History Month, 2, Black Panther's 7 Oscar nominations, and 3, their big win from last night in the SAGs, which we'll get into in a minute. They are going to have AMC, 250 participating AMC theater locations around the country are going to show Black Panther for free.
Yep.
Now, I'm interested in going to see it again on the big screen, especially if it's with an interactive crowd.
Yeah, because the first time it was an interactive crowd. I'm trying to remember. I know we saw it twice.
We saw it at the premiere,
right?
And then the second time we saw it was like
yeah. It was at the AMC over here.
Oh yeah,
and there was people dressed
Dolby,
in
the theater,
shirts and stuff. It wasn't anywhere near as interactive as the first time.
No, but
it was still cool.
I find it Disney's kind of putting a push behind this, which makes me even more excited about Ryan Coogler doing the second one, which means they have they have faith in that it's going to do okay coming up.
Well, yeah.
And Bob Iger, who a lot of people complain about Bob for all kinds of different reasons, and most of them can be legitimate. He also announced that they're going to do 2 tickets, 2 showings per day for each of the participating locations, and Disney will be giving a $1.5 million grant to support the United Negro College Fund to help minority students access to go to college.
Yeah.
So not only are they celebrating this amazing movie that broke a lot of barriers for a lot of people, both racially and comic book wise, but they're also going to back it up by supporting the United Negro College Fund.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool announcement, and he just kind of tweeted it out, and next thing you know, it's like, oh wait, there's a thing.
By the way, let me just drop this little nugget.
So let's get into the SAG Awards, and I need to pull up the article from. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Hi. So the SAG Awards were last night. Now, the SAG Awards are the Screen Actors Guild. Yes. And it's just actors voting for just actors. It's not the Directors Guild. It's not the Producers Guild. It's not the Oscars. It's not the Hollywood Foreign Press. It's not Dave and Bob's award system.
The MTV Movie Awards.
Right. It is actors celebrating actors within their union.
Right.
And it's a good, like the Golden Globes, and the Directors Guild and the Producers Guild. It's the SAG Awards are a good indicator of what could be coming for the Oscars.
Right. And I would think, just personally, that would mean a lot to be recognized by your fellow actors.
Yes, I think for me personally, I would love to have a gold statue for an Oscar. I mean, it's just the idea. It's the highest award that you can get in your field of acting, but to be to be recognized, but those who are in your own field is just as high an honor, I think.
Yeah.
And so they had the Screen Actor Guild Awards last night, and
You're on the wrong one.
I am on the wrong one. What happened to it? That's Variety.
Variety.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. We'll do it live. It's live to tape.
High quality production.
Hey, we're working on it. So this is all just leader stuff, actor stuff, and so they have it broken down in the TV and movie, and then the movie they have some different things and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of breakdowns.
But outstanding performance by a male actor in a leading role went to Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. Mm-hmm. Now I find that very interesting because people are kind of going back and forth if he actually is the front runner for the Oscar. He's in that conversation with Christian Bale. Christian Bale won the Golden Globe and all that kind of noise, and Bradley Cooper's been in that conversation too. So an interesting win, but not like super outside of what kind of the conversations.
Yeah, not a shocker.
Not a shock. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role, Glenn Close. She's going to win the Oscar. Everybody is saying it's gonna happen. Good for her. She's been nominated for an Oscar 7 times. Never won. But I want Olivia Colman.
I do too.
And so,
by the way, Glenn Close is 72.
I think is what we found
72 years old. She looks amazing.
So outstanding performance by an actor in a supporting role is Mashura Ali. I'm getting closer, guys. Mashura Ali for
Marshala.
Sorry,
see, you messed me up. Marshala.
Simple. Ma Ali. He won for Green Book. He won the Golden Globe as well for his role in Green Book.
Yes.
And this was an interesting category because they had Adam Driver, Sam Elliott, and Richard E. Grant, who were all also the ones who got nominated for the Oscar. But they had Timothée Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, and
who was a snub.
at the Oscars, which was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's what it is, I guess. I mean, Mr. Ali is Ma Ali is been kind of the front runner in all of his stuff. So.
Yeah, he's so hot right now. He's in everything.
He is. He's going to be in Alita, and
he's in Alita, and he's in True Detective this season.
Yeah, and everybody says it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
And then
we're trying to catch up on Game of Thrones. So, but one of the big upsets that came out last night was an outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role was Emily Blunt from A Quiet Place. Now, this was a big surprise. I just spilled... I am a hot mess. Jesus freaking Christ. This is kind of an upset. The other nominees were Amy Adams, Margot Robbie for Mary Queen of Scots, and the bitches, Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz. She's not even nominated for A Quiet Place for the Oscars.
Right.
She got it for Mary Poppins. No, she did not get it for Mary Poppins.
She's not in the Oscar at all.
At all.
A Quiet Place is, but it's in like
original
sound.
Something like that.
Some of the lesser
categories. We were going to talk about that this week, but the SAG Awards were probably more important than the secondary awards.
And she wasn't nominated at all for Golden Globes. And I think I talked about it when we talked about the Golden Globes. I thought she should. That was an amazing performance. You spend an entire movie not being able to talk, and you've got to show. You've got to keep the audience engaged. You have to show emotion. You have to, explain what's going on through body language and
facial expressions and hand gestures and stuff like that.
Yes.
That was a not even a small. That is a huge surprise. One, that she got nominated, but two, that she actually won. Margot Robbie has had zero talk about her role in Mary Queen of Scots, and she got a SAG nomination, which again is a big surprise because nobody's talked about that movie.
Well,
And
it's been impossible to see.
That's true. Yeah,
We couldn't see it like anywhere.
we tried. We wanted to go see it.
Yeah.
We just saw Elizabeth and Mary's tombs at Westminster when we were
Yeah,
there, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
we knew this movie was coming, so we wanted to see it. But yeah, just the fact that it's the Screen Actors Guild, so they're going to be able to look at that and go, yeah, that was a great performance, and it deserves to get win.
They understand what
Yeah.
it takes to
Yeah.
do that, to carry a movie without talking.
Yep. We're going to talk about that one last.
Okay.
Outstanding performance by an actor in a television series went to Dean Criss from Assassination of Giovanni Ribisi. He was the guy.
Darren.
Did I say Dean? Darren Criss. He's been winning everything, so that's
Yeah.
not really a big surprise.
Right.
Patricia Arquette won for Escape from Dannemora for an actress in a television movie kind of thing.
That's
Again,
on
she's winning
HBO, Showtime,
something like that. She's been winning everything. Outstanding performance by an actor in a drama series was Jason Bateman from Ozark. That's
kind of a
weird choice.
Yeah.
He won against Sterling K. Brown, Joseph Fiennes, John Krasinski for Jack Ryan. Again, a series that nobody talked about. It was freaking amazing, but nobody talked about it.
It was.
And Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul. Again,
Yeah.
he didn't get nominated for the Golden Globe this year either.
I don't think any of those got nominated for the Golden Globes.
I think Sterling K. Brown did.
Did he?
I think.
Okay. That would make sense because they love This Is Us and
Yeah.
the Good Place.
Good Place.
And
Yeah. So
with the Golden Globes, but yeah, I don't think any of the rest of them did. So
yeah, I just Ozark is one of those shows that we wanted to keep wanting to watch, but we have 40 other things
It's
that come
on
up,
the list.
and it's on the list. So we may get to it, we may not. Sarah Hull won for Killing Eve for female actress in a drama series. That's
Sandra Oh, not Sarah Ho.
Sandra Ho.
Sandra Oh.
I'm gonna just stop talking.
Sandra Oh. Killing Eve.
Ma Ali. Actor in a comedy series went to Tony.
Shalob.
Sure. From Marvelous Miss Maisel, and Rachel Brosnahan won for Marvelous Miss Maisel, and then the whole cast won for cast for standing performance by ensemble in a comedy series, and so that was a huge win for Miss Maisel.
Yep.
And one of the fun things that came out of that was Zachary Levi was posting pictures from Instagram, walking around with this statue at like parties last night and at the restaurant and stuff. But that's a big win for all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That did not get the Golden Globes love this year because it's not the new shiny like it was last year. We have watched season 1. We have not watched season 2. And
right.
So I'm interested to see what season 2
because
is like.
Game of Thrones happened, but season 1 was amazing. It was funny.
Oh, yeah. It took me a minute to get around to it, and then once I did, I really kind of understood. So, did you knock over your drink too?
No.
Okay.
Things are creaking behind me.
That's how the show's going to be today. This Is Us won for ensemble in a drama series, which is again no big surprise.
Right.
Outstanding action performance by stunt ensemble in a comedy or drama series. Now, again, SAG with these really weird kind of awards.
Yeah.
But recognizing the stunt performances is something I think should be in the Oscars.
Yes, but then the Oscars will be even longer.
There's some categories I could definitely get rid of in the Oscars, but that one makes a little bit more sense. But Glow won, which is the whole show is about women wrestling. It's the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling,
Right.
is what Glow stands for. And so I don't know how that show does not get nominated and win for stunt work.
Right.
outside of Jack Ryan, which also got nominated, but and Daredevil too, but like
Yeah.
they took non-athletic women who are comedy based and taught them how to wrestle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was the cool thing about that show. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but the big story of the night was Black Panther. First, it won Outstanding Action Performance by a Stunt Ensemble in a Motion Picture. So all the fight stuff that they did in that movie.
So.
Did I say it wrong?
No.
Okay. Is it pronounced Black Panther?
It's Black Panther.
There's no thing over the E.
It won over Avengers Infinity War.
I know. And it also won, what's the official title of what it's the big, where is it? It's right there. Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture. Black Panther won over Crazy Rich Asians, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Stars Born. So an entire ensemble, and that's their best picture.
Right.
Equivalent.
Now we haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians. We've seen the Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Stars Born. I can get behind this one.
Right.
The stunts over Infinity War.
I'm not gonna.
How many all the scenes in Edinburgh.
All the.
the
Well, and it beat out Mission Impossible with all the stunt work that they did in that movie.
Whole bathroom scene.
And
yeah.
And Tony hanging on to Tom hanging on to the helicopter.
Yeah.
And the jumping from the buildings and the cliff
yeah.
and Henry Cavill doing all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, there's some good work. I just don't. That one almost feels like a gimme. The other one, the ensemble best picture, whatever, totally behind
everyone
that one.
Today was talking about how that's just a huge upset that ensemble won, and it's not necessarily a precursor to the Oscar. Only 2 times has the ensemble SAG winner actually won Best Picture. It's only happened twice.
I thought I was reading that it was like 50-50 or something.
The article that I read, and the 2 articles I read, both made a point of contradicting themselves within the same article. One sentence they say, this doesn't mean that Black Panther is in the running for Best Picture, the favorite for Best Picture.
Right.
And in the very next sentence, they talk about how Robbie Malek is now the front runner for an Oscar because he won the SAG Award. And then in the very next sentence, they talk about how Glenn Close is a lock because she won the SAG Award.
Yeah.
So they kind of 2 different articles. That's why I read 2 different articles. They contradicted themselves in that conversation. But I talked about this on the Oscar nominations episode that we did last week. Last week.
Yeah.
I really think that since there was such a big push to make sure that Black Panther got into the Oscars, I think a lot of the younger voters put it 1, 2, or 3 in their voting. And if they did that, that means it's going to have more 1, 2, or 3 votes,
right?
Which is going to put it higher on the board than everything else. And with the larger contingent of voters this year for the Oscars, and they've made a point of being younger and more diverse and more women and more minorities and all that stuff, I'm saying right now, I think Black Panther could win Best Picture, especially after this happens.
Yeah. When do they have to have their votes in by?
The votes are already, that was the nominations, was the when they announced the nominations, they already know who the winner is.
So
the accounting firm of Daryl and Daryl, or whoever it is that does it.
Well, it used to be Price Waterhouse, but I don't know if it is anymore. I think there was a
anymore.
scandal there. Anyway, okay. So when they announced, they knew. So that was after the Golden Globes, but before the SAGs.
Yeah, I think the SAG nominations were out, but they weren't. The winners weren't.
Right.
Yeah.
But
The timing
So
of all that's kind of really
this can't necessarily affect the Oscars because the votes have already happened.
votes are already in. Yeah. So
unless it's the same, I guess it potentially could be the same people, right? Because people who can vote in the Oscars are previous Oscar winners.
that's how it used to be.
Okay.
They changed that rule to become more diverse in their system.
Right.
And the reason I know that is one, I think I heard it somewhere last year. But the other thing was Questlove, the lead of the Roots.
Right. Right.
He's an he's an Oscar voter.
Right.
Now I don't remember him being nominated for anything off the top of my head.
I think that they were for music for, was it last year?
Yeah, he talked about
Year
it.
before last?
He talked about
So
how
maybe
it was
they
like
opened it up to not just winners but also nominees.
Maybe that was what it was, because he talked about the day after the nominations came out. He talked about how he did not vote for "Can You Be My Neighbor" because he thought everyone else was going to vote for it, and
You can't do that.
and so he voted. He put down a couple other ones to make sure that they got at least votes to be in the conversation, because he just thought that everybody else was going to do it. And it sounds like that may have been the thought process with everyone else, because up until the nominations came out, "Can You Be My Neighbor" was the front runner to win documentary for the Oscars. And then it didn't even get nominated because I think a lot of the younger voters just thought, oh, they'll just vote it in.
So
that's why I'm interested to see how the Black Panther conversation is going to be because of that.
they need to, and I know that like the logistics and the timing of doing this is probably can't even happen. But what they need to do is do 2 votes and do a vote to figure out who's actually in, and then of those go back and vote for your top.
Yeah, whatever
your
the top
pick.
5 are, you put them in that order. Whatever the 5 nominees are.
Yeah, you
or
could do
10,
that. Well, however it works, but they need to do 2, because your pool is very large, right? And so then you end up, I mean, the movie that wins could honestly have only gotten, a handful of votes, but the pool was so big, it's just diluted.
Right.
Everybody else voted onesie twosie all over the place, and then this movie, 10 people voted for it, and it became the winner.
There's a really, really good video that Collider put out, I think 2 years ago, about how the Oscar voting number process really works. And pretty much what it is, as a layman as I can make it, is every let's say Black Klansman is the one. They take all the voters and who voted them number 1 and put them in a category, and number 2 and then number 3 and whatever.
Yeah.
And when they get to a certain point, they automatically go into the nomination for Best Picture. And then they go to the next movie, Black Panther, and they go through the whole thing and whatever. And they get to the point where they have all of the top movies and performances, but I'm just using movies because that's the easiest one to talk.
Right.
And then they take everything that was above the Maginot Line, essentially, is the ones they take, except for I think that if they have like 7 Best Actor nominations, I think they only take the top 5, even if you have 7 that are over that Maginot Line.
Right.
So it's very convoluted and very confusing. But
and you can have 10 Best Pictures, but you will never have 10.
You'll never
best
have 10
pictures.
because of the way the math works for them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Just do 2 votes.
Yeah, I like the idea of here's
and you
your
could do the
top
second one online. I mean, I don't know how they do it to begin with.
Russian
but
hackers hacked the election. You don't think some guy in his basement in Modesto can't break into and put money, because you can gamble on the Academy Awards.
That's true.
So you can, don't you think somebody would put in for that? I don't know. But the idea that Black Panther won the big Best Picture award at the SAG is really comes down to it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it beat Bohemian Rhapsody and it beat Star is Born. It beat Green Book of Mile. That's our show. I'm gonna go find my mouth and maybe the connective tissue between my brain and my mouth, because Ma Ali can actually say Sarah Ho. Please follow us, subscribe to the channel, follow us on all of our social media stuff, which is all in the description. Our Patreon too, because I need surgery to fix my mouth and the brain connecty thingy.
I don't think there's a for that
HDMI cable in there that's loose. So subscribe to our Patreon and help us out. I will work on that gold level here soon. And that's it. I'm done. To hell with it. Good night, cult members.